Hello, beautiful people. How are we all? Thought I'd start a little bit early because we got a lot to get through. Good day. How are we doing? I've got the amazing Jamie in chat, Kay, Andrew, good day. Big Sean, Sandra says, Lucinda, how are we all? How are we all? This is going to be good. So what we're going to do, so every week we'll do this. These will become daily towards the AFL trade period, particularly, and the AFL draft. It effectively replaces the kickback with Pom show as it usually is. So that's going to be the new getting. So we've got a lot of things to get through today. See you all coming in. Chris, Sean, mate, hey, if you're late, you're late. But we like to be earlier. Lucinda, Chills, how are we doing? So we're going to go through. What we're going to do is give you a brief brush up on our knowledge on how the list works, so we know what the lists are like for the AFL teams. Cover every team's rumours, every team's potential outs. Discuss a little bit about what we think every team will be looking at and doing at this stage. And then really get into it, really. So, I mean, what we've done is, I thought, so it's easier for you all, we will have a look at how the list looks. So, here we are. We'll look at Adelaide first, right? Adelaide are the team we're going to start with. So, here is it. So, you'll be able to download this. It is a link on my page. You can go and get this. We're going to update this to show it tonight how it looks now. So if you look at Adelaide, there's a few things going on here. So at this stage, they've got 33 players with the players they've delisted on the senior spot, 5 on the rookie, 0 rookie Bs, right? And currently they have pick 14, 41, 48, 50, 60, 68. Now there's a few things they're going to have to change, right, Adelaide? So if we go over to this side, you'll see this is their list as it is. They're going to have to make a decision on Tex, who evidently is thinking about retiring. He's not too sure. Chris Burgess is another one that they're going to have to look at. Outside of that, no real issues. But there is one issue for them, and this is one of the ones that people always forget when they do their mock drafts and they do their list management. Mark Keane has been on the rookie list now more than 3 years. It'll be his 4th come next year. He's played more than 10 games, which means he has to be promoted to the senior spot, right? So that is something to bear in mind. So if we do that, right, and we go down to Mark Keane, so you can do this on your sheet as well. You'll see now he's got 34 senior spots. So they can only get 4. They need to get 2 to meet the minimum requirement, or 4 to go to the max, which means they'd still need to get 2. So the difference between rookie A and rookie B, best way to think of it, rookie B says untraditional AFL pathways. So for them to go into that, they can't have played football for 3 years. So it's usually Irish players that have maybe gone to school in America, rugby league players like that. So it's players that haven't had the traditional draft rotation. It also is now NGA players as well. So you can list them on the rookie B list. Players like Jade Gresham and Tyson Gresham for Carlton, players like that. You can go straight onto there. Rookie A genuinely are AFL players that have played state football, mid-season draft. They're all rookies. Players like that. So that's the best way to remember it. Think rookie A, actual footballers, rookie B, potential footballers. So if we look at Adelaide, if we did that change, so Mark King comes on there, we've got 4 list spots. So there's something to remember. In the AFL, they only allocate the picks you've got for senior list spots. So you can have a maximum of 38 there, if you see. So in this scenario, they would lose all them picks. So they would lose 66 and 68. So what we would predict will happen here is that they will promote a rookie using pick 66, so on and so forth. Now, the players they're linked with at this stage in time is Zach Merritt loosely, and we've only taken the trade rumours that are legit, right? Are legit, so in proper media. It's not like what we've seen in Big Footy. G'day, Wayne, how you doing? Snaky, shaky, how are you, mate? Christian Petrarca loosely. This one's probably the one that's going to go through. Reports are Archie's coming in. So that would make that, if you remember, that would now make that 35, say if Archie comes in. So remember, every time we add one of these, that would mean they'd lose another pick. Potential outs are quite interesting. Jordan Butts is linked with a trade out. That's another rumour, not confirmed. And in the draft, they've got Mitch Stevens, the father and son, to worry about. Outside of that, the sky is the limit. We anticipate Mitch Stevens will be after probably somewhere between 40 and 60 should he be taken. So that'll be different. So question from Bryce. G'day, mate. How are you, mate? The only real estate agent I like. What's the difference between a rookie contract and a draft contract in price? As in, say, let's pick 48 versus a rookie. So if you're meaning like how much that costs, so the rookie with the AFL draft, they've recently changed it to the minimum payments in the draft, right? So now what they're looking at, the payment structure, is the minimum first-year player at the minute is $105,000. That's on average. It is higher for first-year players, though, in the top 10. After that, so the way to look at it, 1 to 20, the minimum you can pay them is $105,000. From 21 onwards, it's $95,000. From 41 onwards, it's $90K. And then rookies have got to be paid a base rate of $85K. Remembering that they are slightly off the books as well. So the rookie A's are slightly off the books. In terms of picks, think of a rookie player as a pick 70. That's a good way to look at it. Average, there's about 65 picks in the AFL. So it's more of a speculative. You will find, though, in the rookie, if it is an established player, it is better than you want it, better success of rates of him succeeding, because it's usually an ex-AFL player or a mature age player. So Adelaide are in quite a healthy position, as we've seen, right? So then we'll go on to Brisbane, looking like the reigning premiers at the minute, and they could go back to back. So Richmond are Brisbane are in a really interesting case, right? So currently, as it stands at the minute, they've got a lot of work to do, right? They've got a lot of work to do in the terms of delisting because they're still in it. So 36 players are currently on their senior list. 7 are on their rookie A, 1 on their rookie B, and they've got 44, as you would expect. Now, there's a few little things here. If we go over to here, you're asking who that 2033 contract is. Josh Worrell just recently signed at the start of the year, at the start of the trade period. So one to watch out for there. There's going to be quite a few you'll see on this. So Brisbane, if you look here, they've got quite a lot of work to do with their seasons. They've got Devon Robertson, Archie, incredible player, I agree, incredibly underrated. They've got Lincoln McCarthy. They've got Sam Day. They've got Luke Beacon. They've got decisions on Connor McKenna. They've got decisions on Will McLaughlin. They've got decisions on James Tunstall, Brendan Starcevic, who's been linked away, Dara Joyce, and Darcy Craven. So they've got quite a lot of wiggle room at the minute. And what is quite interesting with Brisbane, so remember the rule, you only get the picks to max out your senior spot. Connor McKenna has to be upgraded to the senior list because he's played over 10 games, right? Shadow Bren has got to be promoted to the rookie A at the very least, a la Mullin from Geelong, because he has served his time on the category B. And if Leicester and Joyce re-sign, they're going to have to re-sign on the senior list, right? So this is going to be fascinating because what they could do with these guys is they can delist them and pick them up in the draft again, right? They can do that. They have to be subject to that. But if they are going to resign them before they become free agents, they're going to have to put them on the senior list, right? Ty Gallop. Hey, Chabby, if you watched Joe last year, we were quite hot on Ty Gallop the other year. So you can see here, a lot of these picks won't be loose, but Brisbane have got a lot of work to do. So Oscar Allen's definitely coming in and Sid Draper, right? So that will make their list, if you look at maximum, right? It'll be at the max capacity. So you can make a good guess here. Devitt Robertson and Archie are going to go, right? Are going to go, you would imagine. Lincoln McCarthy's probably going to go as well. Sam Day, you'd imagine they might sign him, or they might delist him and rookie A him. But these rookie A guys, particularly McKenna and stuff, you imagine they're going to try and force them into retirement. So they're in a very interesting spot, Brisbane are. Very interesting spot. But you can see here they've got decisions to do. Ins, though, Connor Buderick's another one. Jordan Ridley's a very loose link. I don't think that's going to happen, but I have to put it on here. You'll see here we've greened the ones that are confirmed. Starcevic looks like he's going to accept the 6-year deal. So that's really interesting with Starcevic going to them, because a point of reference here for Starcevic for you guys at home, he's a restricted free agent. Now, with it being a 6-year deal, it's going to be fascinating how much that is, because that could actually be a first-round pick. So that could be a first-round pick, because that might be the happy medium for them. So they might be getting an extra pick in for there. But they've got quite a lot of draft. Danny Annabelle's a top 5 player. I agree. I think Ridley's staying. I just had to put it there. Don't get too caught up on the rumours. It's just what's officially been reported from media outlets. Very good player is Danny Annabelle. Very good player. Top 5. Could be a top 3. Top 3 player in the draft. I reckon in a free draft, he's probably pick 1. But these guys here, I want you to keep a lookout for Prindable and Bridge. These two have played quite a lot of state league games as well and been quite handy. There'll be late selections after the 3rd, but very solid selections. So Chabby Joe, very good question. So the Eagles have actually applied for a concession, so they won't be affected, which I am assuming, according to Kaltumi, it's been approved. Hence, they've gone. Hence, they've gone with that big deal. So, very interesting, that one, Joe. Did I call him Sid? Sorry, Brett. Sid Draper's my boy. You know what? I'd never do. I'd never do that. I'd never start the rumours up. So, here's, yeah. So, it was confirmed by Eagles. They have applied to the AFL for a concession to do that. It has been granted prior. It appears it's been granted. According to Kaltumi, he's quite confident it's going to be granted. So that's one to look out for, because that could be a very good pick for Adelaide. Hey, Joe, mate, I think it's stiff, but you would imagine, Heels, you are spot on. If that is rejected, I'd imagine that's a trade. I'd imagine that's a trade. I don't want to work for the Howard Sun. So here's Carlton. Carlton are in a very interesting position, right? Carlton are in a very interesting position. So they've still got to make a decision on Mitch McGovern, Harry Charleston, Rob Monaghan on the category B. Now, that's a very interesting one. I think Carlton might get a gauge on where Gresham is, because Carlton could just category B Gresham. I don't see why we would keep Rob Monaghan. I don't think he's gone. And Will White and Flynn Young. Now, Flynn Young is evidently estimated to sign a deal in the next couple of days. So that's one that they're reporting. Now, Carlton have got a real fascinating thing. We'd imagine that they're going to delete some of them rookie A's. For contract changes, Carlton don't really have to do anything at this stage. Carlton don't really have to do anything at this stage. But you'd imagine that they're probably going to go down by a couple. I'd imagine they might do the old D list and we'll have a look at you in the draft time. Carlton are provisionally getting round 1 pick for TDK and around 2 pick for JSOS. That's currently around 7 and 9 before you add everyone else's compensation picks. They've got 35, 42, and 62. And going back to what I said earlier, it's very, very, very interesting to note. Carlton will be handed more picks than they've probably got. They'll probably get one of the Brucey bonuses at the tag end of the draft, unless they sign players. But that being said, Carlton have been linked with half a house. So Reedy and Cheshire look like they're through the door. Carlton are going to have to trade in them players. Flanders, Petrarca, CJ, and Buku Kamis are heavily linked with the Blues. These are probably yellow rumours now. It sounds like it's going to happen. Carlton could do. It's interesting. Genuinely, they don't upgrade a player by announcing the contract signing early. So that could be an interesting one. I reckon you might see I reckon you might see Carlton do a dodgy with Will White and delist him, then promote him. I mean, sorry, maybe delist him. I reckon you might see Carlton announce that at the draft and burn their last pick. Carlton have got a few. He's still within his terms, though, says. You get 3 years before 10 becomes an issue. Remember, says. 3 years total. So, once you're for your 4th year to apply, you have to play less than 10 games. Carlton have got quite a lot of work to do, though. Charlie Curnow is the loose link. When we say loose link, it's everywhere. But Jack Silvani and TDK will be off this. That already reflects that, just for those at home, if you're delisted. What happens if they delist Will White? They'll just have 6 rookie spots. But genuinely, I reckon Carlton might request he trains on. I reckon they'll do the Harry Charleston thing. Will train on. And if Carlton can't get anyone in, they'll just re-rookie them. I think that's what Carlton will do, just to open up list spots so they can get the maximum amount of picks. Why that works out as well, is let's just say that pick is 66, right? Let's just say that's 66. Come draft time, that could actually be points with how people pass and all the matches of bids. So that's why some teams do it. So it's going to be interesting. Who does Flanders go to? I think Saints. I'm with you here. Jeffy's Paradise. I think it could be Saints. But Carlton have got quite a lot here. So Gresham, I think, could be rookied. Jack Eison's going to be very intriguing because I think he's about... I think if he'd played, he would have been 35. Number 35 in there. Pick 35. I think we've got lucky there that he's going to be there. Harry Dean's going to be a top 10 pick. Elijah Hollands, he is accounted for. There's no concrete rumours, though, Sonny, at the minute. There's no concrete rumours, so that's why they're not on here. There is no media outlet as of yet has actually said he's got a link to anyone. So Carlton have just said he's going out. So that's going to be an interesting one, but that would be another one that Carlton would have to. There it is, actually. It's his brother, Joe Tyson. It's his brother. It's his baby brother. So then we go to Collingwood. So Collingwood, they just unfortunately missed out last night. They've got quite a lot to do. So we should hear from them, Reese, in the next couple of weeks. You'd imagine the next week or so what they're going to do with their list. But quite an aging list. So it's going to be interesting. Do I think Carlton will pay Elijah out? No, I don't. I think there will be a bid. I think there will be... It'll be like one of them stupid deals, like a future. I think that could be used in the Campbell deal. I reckon it could be used in the Campbell deal. So it's going to be interesting what that is. But that's going to be one of them stupid deals, like, the steak knife deals. Is that official? Is it, Sean? Thank you, mate. You know what? I'll change that. I'll change that now. There we are. So Collingwood then, right? So they're going to have to, if they keep Dean, which they're expected to do, Charlie Dean looks like he's going to have to be promoted, which I'd imagine Collingwood will do. Jamie Elliott, obviously loosely linked with Gold Coast. That's more of a rumour. It hasn't actually had a physical article about it. Tom Mitchell, it's going to be interesting what they do there. It's going to be interesting what they do there. Will Parker can still re-sign as a rookie B. Billy Frampton, Finlay McRae, they've got contract decisions. They've also got contract decisions on Smith, which I think Smith might get delisted with Zach McCarthy coming in. Lockie Sullivan, you'd imagine he re-signs. Oleg Markov, I think that might be another one of them D-lists. We'll see if we get anyone better. We'll pick you up. Ash Johnson, I imagine his time's done. Steele, Cox and Howes. I think Steele's probably worth keeping. Not too sure about Mason Cox. I think he might go. Obviously, Brody Myercheck's heavily linked with a move out there. Jack Buller from Sydney is in there. Pies don't have the greatest of picks, but they do have some real good little players here. So Pies have got a really strong academy. So McGuan, everyone knows McGuan. He's definitely going to be in that late second, early third. The selection is there. Same with Zachy McCarthy, who I think is one of the standout rooks in this draft class. I think he's a very, 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 very good footballer. Saxena. Will Hoskin-Elliott's already off your books. Don't worry. See, it's all updated. When they're delisted, they get deleted automatically on the system. And Saxena could be a rookie shout. And Doug Kerr could be a really interesting one. Could be a really interesting one with what they do with him, because he has shown a bit of form in the league, in the under 18s. Could be. Is he related to Sam Kerr, the footballer? I don't believe he is. I don't believe he is, Doug. Can't confirm that, but I haven't heard. I would have thought that would have been something that's reported. So yeah, he's very good. So there's nothing with Billy Frampton. So I have checked this. That the only article I have found about Billy Frampton is he's got a 2-year deal in front of him. But as per CD, he's out of contract still to 2025. I know he's Daniel Kerrs. I don't know if he's related. I don't think he is, because they're WA, aren't they? Might do, yeah. So Collingwood got a lot of work to do here. It's going to be very interesting because they have been very open that they're going to be targeting that AFL senior type thing. So I would be really on the lookout what they do. I've got a feeling that Collingwood might be active. So they have been linked with Petrarca, Kerner, Buller's confirmed now. Stephen May is a very good get for them. So that could be a real fantastic one, what they do. Very interesting what they do. But I've got a feeling that they're going to go quite big on targeted senior citizens, yeah. So then we go to Essendon. So Essendon have got a bit of work to do here. So if we look at their picks first, 4, 5, 22, and 25, they'll also have a pick where 5 is. A pick where 5 is. A pick where 5 is. So that's going to be interesting. As you can see here, Draper's already gone. And then you'd imagine Ben Hobbs. He might be one of them delisted rookie ones. Could be interesting. Will Setterfield, he's got a decision to make. Lawau still hasn't been offered a contract. Oscar Smart, you imagine, is the unlucky rookie. As you can see, they have one too many rookies as it stands at the minute. They have been linked with Florini, who I think would be an incredible good get. Sam Flanders, he's a loose link. And then the outs make for bad reading. Sam Draper, we've already accounted for. Jordan Ridley, a very loose one. And Zach Merritt, another media noise. They have got Sweden El Akar, who are incredibly good players. Incredibly good players. You're looking at the second round for them. Obviously, they delisted Todd Goldstein, who's reflected on here, and Laverdy, who's now had a medical, which is interesting that they've gone with that. It's interesting that they've gone with Laverdy. He's an unrestricted free agent, but they've delisted him, so he's going to sign there as a delisted free agent. So that's an interesting one. But a lot of work to do for them, but they're not in a horrible position. 4, 5, and 6 come draft night. Ridley, I agree, I think stays. They've got some really nice picks there that really change their profile around of their list. I'd like a little bit of Lawau as well. I'm surprised he hasn't signed, and evidently there isn't a contract in front of him, according to Cal Toomey, when I was doing the research for this. So that could be an interesting one. The rookie's going to be interesting because I think now that they've got rid of him, it opens up the door for CDT, doesn't it? Wooden Spoon, who I have predicted one of the few guys who does the draft. I think CDT is going to slide. So I wonder if they're going to jump on that. That could be fascinating, but a lot of work to do. But I like the calls. I like the Laverdy call and I like the Goldstein call. I am a big fan of Nick Bryan and I am a big fan of Vigo as well. So I do like what they're doing. If they can get Florini in, I think that's an absolute great get, though. Really great get. Then we look at Fremantle. Fremantle, they've got quite a bit to do here. Will Brodie and Liam Reedy have already said they're out of the door. But what is really nice about Fremantle is they've done their list management for us. Right? So right now, they're going to get, as you can see, they'll get 7 picks in the AFL draft. Should they not trade anyone in? They are going to have to move Josh Draper off the Category B list, which will make that 5-37. Liam Reedy and Will Brodie are already accounted for, leaving the club in that. And they've got some really, really nice players in draft commitment. Ryder Luke has had a pretty good back end of a year. Toby Wan Kenobi, very solid player. And Tom Phillips ain't a bad Category A rookie choice. Some really nice deals. Judd McVeigh is the only player that is targeted with them. You could give a loose link to Elijah Hollands. There is reports from the Western Australian, who we don't count in these trade rumours because they get a lot of freelance writers. But the rumours are they have done due diligence on Elijah Hollands. So that could be interesting for the Reedy deal. But real solid list. And Fremantle are in a pretty good place. What are Fremantle missing? Yeah, I feel like Fremantle need, this would sound weird, but when I look at them, I think they need some strong two-way runners. A bit like Adelaide last year, when they brought in Peatling and Cumming. That's why I like the Judd McVeigh link. I think bringing in some things to bolster that, which allows your players who play them kind of incidental roles to take centre stage, would be really interesting. I do like what they're doing, Fremantle. I don't think they're too far away. Elijah would be a great get. I do think Elijah would be a great get for them. They've probably got the culture as well. A premiership is definitely what they need, mate. They definitely do. But Fremantle in a good position. Pretty straightforward mock draft for Fremantle, I think. So some really interesting ones here for GWS. So GWS, Jacob Weir and Lee Kalia have already announced that they're leaving. Outside of that, they've got Wade Dirksen, who you can see here, Wade Dirksen would need to go onto the senior list. However, it looks like he's trading out. I want you to watch out for Nick Madden, though. And I'm surprised that he hasn't been linked with anyone because he's going to have to come off the Category B list to go on the Rookie A list now. He's no longer eligible for that, but he's a very, very good growing ruckman. They're linked with Laverdy and Robbie Fox, the GWS method of taking second chance players. A couple of players as well I want you to look out for in the draft. For them, I really want you to look out for Jim Houston and Riley Hamilton. I really want you to look out for these two because they're very, 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 very talented footballers. Good draft picks for them as well, 12, 30 and 32 to do the business they need to do. As for outs, like you can see, Wade Dirksen, they'll get a trade for. Weir is a free agent, and Lee Kalia, they are going to have to trade for as well. So them picks will get a little bit better as well. It's going to be interesting if St Kilda can keep that pick. It's going to be very interesting what St Kilda do to get Lee Kalia. 3 underperform, probably they did. Is it an indictment? No, I don't. I think he's. I mean, look, we can slag Carlton off as much as we want, but Elijah Hollins is a human being, so I think he's got to take responsibility as well. He's made a mistake as well, so he's made a mistake. The combo pick looks like a second rounder. It'll be 27, so we're going to show you the comps in a minute. So it'll be about 28, 29, depending on that. Then we go on to Geelong. Geelong versus Brisbane in the final, so they've still got a lot of list decisions to make. George Stevens, I imagine that they keep. Ollie Wilshire, he's a wait and see. Xavier and Patrick, I think maybe re-rookie dependent. They might just, time's done. It's going to be interesting what they do with Ollie Wilshire. He could maybe be downgraded. Cam Guthrie, you'd imagine, maybe delisted. Joe Pike's never really got going. Ted Close is going to be an interesting one because they're going to have to take him off the rookie B. If you go to any of my socials, I've posted it, Sean. I'll post it again. So at the end of this show, in the recap. Danger, he could be a retirement. You never know. You don't know. But they've got some pretty good picks. The top side in the competition. Some players coming in. Rowan Marshall's a link. James Warple will be a free agent. Charlie Kerner has been linked. At this stage, no potential outs. Geelong are very hard to get rumours for. They keep it themselves. Ben Rongdit and Jesse Meller, 2 players I want you to look out for in the draft. Ben Rongdit looks sexual. Yeah, go for it, Sean. So it'll get updated later tonight as well with the new edits that we've got on here. And yeah, so very strong position. I agree here, Snake. Very, very clever, isn't it? They go outside the norm and it works for them. It's very, very strong. Very strong. So Gold Coast are one of the more intriguing ones. Now, these are a team that I don't think the media is giving enough kudos for and enough look at them, right? So Holman and Florini looks like he's going to leave. Holman, maybe a rookie. Buderick looks like he's leaving. Max Noble looks like he's leaving. Rosas looks like he's leaving. Eastham, Jepson, and Lewis and Farah, who is evidently got a 2-year deal in front of him to stay at Gold Coast. They've only been linked with Petrarca and Kerno, though. And they have said they're going to be bold. But when we get down here, quite a lot of work for them to do on the out. But a lot of these players are good enough to draft, right? So Bo Adensel, Dylan Patterson, and Zeke Hewland are all top 15. Zeke Hewland's top 3, right? So very interesting, right? Colby Coulson, though, and Cooper Collins, definite top 50 picks. And Jai Murray, I've seen worst players rookied. So they're going to have a lot of work to do, and they don't currently have the pick, Arsenal, I don't think, to actually do this. So that is going to be interesting what Gold Coast do. They're a definite watch this space for me. Hey, Hunter, mate, I'm sick of Geelong fans crying when we beat them. I honestly, bro, they kill me, mate. They kill me. But very good position, Gold Coast. Hawthorn, this is the team that probably are going to be incredibly active in this window. I think they are going to go out and get ready-made talent. Ready-made talent. I'll check it out, Matthew. Thank you for the intel. Is he legit? Is he? Ben Cotton? Isn't he with the Herald? Because it's still not updated in the back end. But I do know he's got a contract in front of him. So when it's announced on AFL ratings, we'll go through it. But Hawthorn. So Hawthorn, they've got quite a bit of work to do. So we've removed all the confirmed delistings. Warpool looks like he's going. Sam Frost, I'm surprised no one has had a sniff at Sam Frost yet. Bodie Ryan, that's going to be interesting. I think that might be a D-list. Jai Sarong has got options from West Coast and Hawthorn. So has Sam Butler. This is going to be interesting. Jasper Scaife and Seamus. As for things they've got to do, this might go against them. Access only. It's nice to know that everyone copies my made-up rumours. That's always good. But James Blank, I'd imagine he might get delisted purely because he's got to be a senior. I could see them maybe upgrading Seamus. There is loose links in State Knife deals with Seamus. They have been linked with Zach Merritt. He's obviously in the press. CJ Warple, Cam McKenzie, and Sam Butler. At the minute, Kobe Williams has got a decision to make. He's dual father-son at the minute, but he could be taken by Hawthorn. Interesting, though, that Footscray did announce him in a VFL team, so they might be favourites. Some healthy picks there, though, to do some trades. So it's going to be very interesting what they're going to do, Hawthorn. But I think they're going to be incredibly active in the window. Melbourne, a team that is definitely in a rebuild, and they've got a lot of work to do. They have got an awful lot of work to do. So you can see here that they've got a lot of players that they're going to do. Jordan McVeigh, Spargo's already gone. Harry Sharp could be it. Could be another one. Tar Warden, very good little player there, Taj. I'm surprised they haven't kept in. They could be some offers there. Petrarca, May, McVeigh, and Spargo confirmed out, as we said. Kalani White, the ruck forward. Jeff's son, very good prospect for them. And Toby Cinema, who didn't get invited to any of the big things, but has shown a bit of signs for Dandenong. They have been linked with Max Heath, Wade Dirksen, who are your classic rebuilding players. Sam Flanders and Brody Myercheck are the very obvious players there for them. Ken, anyone other than Merritt? Well, you've been loosely linked with Butters, but there's no concrete, because what I've done is remove the rumours when a team has doubled down and says that they're not getting rid of him. Otherwise, it would just get too complicated. But you have been linked with Butters, you've been linked with Petrarca, and you've been linked with Merritt. I do think now you're out of finals, we'll start to see a bit more links, because Hawthorn are a bit like Geelong. They don't chat shit. They wait. They really wait. So Melbourne are in a real intriguing position because they sold their future, if you remember. So they haven't got great selections. It'll be very interesting what they do, because I don't think there's a hell of a lot of collateral outside of Petrarca for them. But Heath, Dirksen, Flanders, Myercheck, they make sense to top your list up. But I do think they need a bit more top-end talent. North are going to be a really intriguing watch for me this year. So Robert Hansen Jr. has to be promoted. Darcy Tucker, Callum Coleman-Jones, who I'd imagine they delist, surely, because he's pissed. Geordie Payne, I think he might be unlucky. Will Phillips, I'm surprised there's not more links. Cooper Harvey may get rookied, which I still think is a mistake. They put him on the senior list. And Finbar, Malley, and Zach Branch still waiting. for what they've got to do. But their list spot is in a weird position. 20 and 21, I think that they will have a shy. There's no concrete links, shaky and widescreen. I have heard that rumor. Haven't been reported by anyone reputable yet. So once the rumors go on AFL ratings, that's when we put them on here, when they're like actually bona fide rumors. That's our rule. But they've got no draft commitments, no potential outs. Spargo's, I don't mind the Spargo get. I love the Butts link. I don't like it either, Sean, but it's going to be interesting. Stephen May's a good shout, access only. You would imagine that that's someone that they're looking at. Is Harvey. You see, Cooper Harvey, I'm not a big fan of. So I don't think he should be on the senior list. I think he might be re-rookied. I reckon him and Hansen switch positions. But I reckon that you'd imagine here, it's when you look at North's list, it's really young in the right places. I do think they need the seniority to bring it in. So be interesting what North do. It's going to be interesting. So here's Port. Port are in a rebuild. They've announced they are. It's going to be interesting what they do because they've done all their list management. There's only two guys they've got to worry about, but I'd imagine Hugh McClingley and Ram will stay on the rookie list, I'd imagine. It's no real skin off their nose. They're probably going to be trained on players, see what they do in the draft and the trade period. No links out, but Will Brodie and Jacob Weir, very good acquisitions for Port for what they're trying to do. Florini would be an exceptional player to come in. No one to worry about in the draft. 3 incidental picks. It's going to be interesting. I'm still not 100% convinced that Zach Butters will be there long term. I do think he will be out. Right? He will be gettable next year. But Port are in an intriguing position here because I don't hate their list. I think it's fixable. It's going to be interesting. Richmond, who have announced they're hitting the draft hard, and they've got some real big decisions to make. They've got Thompson Dow, who I imagine will be delisted. Tyler Sonzi, Tyler Young, who's got a contract in front of him. Ollie Hayes-Browns, who I think he might go around again as a rookie B. Campbell Gray and Caleb Smith. Very, very intriguing. They're always short of picks, Sandra. It's a weird thing. They trade them out, and now they're going to have to do it. So James and Seth Campbell have to be promoted to the senior list, which would take their senior list to 36, which I do think spells the end for a lot of players on here. So Thompson Dow definitely, I think, gets delisted. Just not good enough. Tyler Sonzi might be a rookie chance. Young, it says that they're on it. They did, yeah. But they've confirmed they're going to go hard again, which I do actually like. I think another draft and then go senior players in 2026 will serve them well. I think Caleb Smith might have squeaky bum time as well. In the draft, they have got Lewis Kellaway, who is a very solid player. Malcolm Rosas has been linked with them. Hasn't been announced yet. So like I say, once it's announced officially on the CD AFL rating site, because that's what they use, that's where it goes through, we'll update it. I've tried not to update anything with a guess until it's like officially in concrete. Just otherwise, we tried to do it last year and it got really confusing. So I just like to try and keep it just one straightforward thing. But 2 and 3, some good picks for them. It's going to be interesting what they do. I think they'll bring in 2 good talents and we'll see what they do. So St Kilda, the big bullies of the AFL trade period, and they've got a bit of work to do. Zach Jones, I think, may get delisted. Burns, I'm surprised they haven't signed because I really like Burns. If I was West Coast Eagles, he'd definitely be a guy I'd have a sniff at. Definitely. Jack Carroll, he may get delisted into a rookie. We do know Sauce likes him. Ari Schoenmaker, this is going to be a real wait and see for me. I like him, but for some reason he's not there. Max Heath looks like he's on his way out. Caminiti has to be promoted, which will make that 37. But just look at that, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41. So based on that, we can tell that Zach Jones will get delisted. Burns has got to get delisted. Jack Carroll's got to get delisted. And Showmaker has got to be rookied. So they're going to have to do a lot of work. They're going to have to do a lot of work. They're going to have to do a lot of work with their list management to get all these players in. They're going to have to delist everyone out of contract. It's going to be a very interesting side. They've got a real good. Dougie Cochran, yep, we'll cover him next year. But very good player, port locked. VFL Grand Final, I did enjoy it. I don't like the fact that it was basically an AFL side versus a VFL side. But it is what it is. How good, though, a Southport? Like, I know he's slow. He's definitely on my radar. Stay tuned for part 5 of the AFL draft. We do the State League players. But I know everyone cries and goes, oh, he's not very quick. He's slow and all this. But Boyd Woodcock, you can't tell me he can't do a job at half forward. The Footscray did, access only. So a lot of work to do. And they've been linked with a few. Max Heath, Ron Marshalls, we've covered early. Cal Wilkie is a loose link. Jack Steele is another loose link out. Do want you to watch this guy, though, Kai Fincher. Incredible intercept defender. Looks really solid. Could see him playing as an oversized winger as well a bit later in his career. There's something about Kai. Really, really good little player. But bit of work to do for St Kilda that no one's talking about. Right? There's a lot he can do. Lot to do for them. So then we got Sydney Swans. Sydney Swans, their list management is very peculiar. Peter Laddams needs to be dealt with. Dan Rampy, the rumours are out east, out north, he's going. Joe Hamlin, rookie A. Jack Buller, looks like he's leaving. Jake Lloyd, still no decision. Very interesting. Don't mind that. I could see him going there, back to where it started for him. You know what? I don't think they keep their first round pick, Dale. I think that's going to have to be used in the deals. But I think he'd be a good get for them. Can Swans get a deal for him? You see, I think it's a problem. Because the only way Carlton would do picks is if a third team comes in for the deal for me. I think Carlton don't want to take anyone in this draft, and I think it would be a miss of them to draft anyone when I think the state of their list, they've decided it's keep going, not go younger. So the way Carlton are wording it, reading between the lines, is they're happy with their youth. They want to compete. So the only way I can see it is if they trade a pick that becomes straight away a player, which I don't know how Sydney can do it. I think Gold Coast have the best chance. Jed Walter and Flanders is probably more appealing to Carlton than what Fremantle, which Sydney would offer. So Carlton aren't going to use pick 9. So that would be pick 10 come draft night. Carlton aren't going to want it. So the only way I could see it is if a third team comes in. But all the players Carlton have been linked with that are worth a rounder first are at Gold Coast. And I can't see Gold Coast saying, well, you know what? Sydney give us 9 for Flanders. We'll give Carlton Flanders. You give them Florent and someone else. And someone else. I don't think Gold Coast would help. So I think we'd have to deal direct with them. It's going to be interesting what they do, though. So Will Edwards has signed a long deal. He can't stay on the rookie B, though, with that long deal. So it looks like he's going to go to the Rookie A. Jack Buller probably will be traded out. And they've got some very good players. So no one's talked about this. Max King's very good. Lockie Carmichael is solid. Harry Kyle, though, I was watching him the other day. Him and Noah Chamberlain are tasty as well. So some really good selections for them. Really good. Not a bad trade, that, Rift. I don't mind it. See, that would work out as well. That would work out for them. That would work out for them to get the more picks. Work out for Eagles. So don't mind that, mate. That's one of the better ones I've seen. Well done. Very hard to do them trades, but you've done well there, mate. Well done. Eagles, so they're in a really interesting predicament. So they've pretty much done their list management. As you can see, Jacob Newton has evidently got a year contract in front of him. So Cohen Livingston hasn't, according to reports. Marek and Dewa have to be promoted. So that would take that to 30. That would take that to 7. So you'd imagine from that, that's why they've got rid, why the rumours are they're getting rid of young Cohen Livingston. Obviously, Oscar Allen already deleted off this system. Campbell Chesh and Ryan, they potentially go out. So they're going to be really busy. Really, really busy. And then you look, Sam Butler, Devin Robertson, Starcevic would be a great pickup for them. Big fan of Starcevic. Big risk with his head injuries. Big player. And Steele, it's speculative. Loose links to Lockie Neal, but Lockie Neal himself has shut that down. Some very good players coming in, though. I've got to say, Eagles NGA has really paid up trumps. Do like Wes Wally. Do like Charlie Banfield. I'm a big fan of Kobe Evans. It's going to be very interesting what they do. Very interesting what they do. They're in a very good position, the Eagles, in this draft. And I think this draft actually helps them out. So that's going to be interesting. Then the Doggies, they've got a lot of work to do. So their list is currently chock-a-block. Lots of decisions to make. Surprised no one is in for Oscar Baker. Surprised we haven't heard anyone in for Oscar Baker. Nick Caulfield, I'd imagine he gets delisted. Liam Jones, I imagine he gets delisted. Caleb Poulter, he's got to be promoted to the senior list, so I reckon he gets delisted. James O'Donnell has to go on the Rookie A, so I reckon he will stay and take Poulter's position. Bramble, McNeil, they're the other Rookie A's. Anthony Scott, reckon he gets a deal. JJ, I reckon there's probably better things to do. Buku is their only link out. Callum Wilkie, a loose link. Jordan Butts. So that would probably spell the end for Liam Jones. Connor Budrick's another link. Will Darcy, Sam's brother, is one of their father's sons. And Kobe Williams, he's got to make a choice between Hawthorn and Doggies. Doggies don't have many picks, though. But that is basically the state of play for all the lists in the AFL. So this is where the draft is at the minute, right? So that is how the draft looks at the minute. There's your points to match. And here we are. So this is where we've got the provisional compensation. I'm very good, Felix. How are you? Hope you're doing well, mate. So we've got a lot of work to do here, but this is roughly what it'll look like with compensation. Oscar Allen will slide in at 2. Richmond. And that Sam Draper comp comes here. Gold Coast, TDK comp, as you can see. Be interesting should Starcevic go, because that does look like a banned one. So potentially, if West Coast get the permission to sign a free agent and not lose their first round comp, could be a pick there. I reckon the AFL, though, here's Pom's prediction. They're going to do a dodgy and they'll give Brisbane a pick here. I reckon they'll do a band 2 comp and that's how they'll appease them. Right? So this is going to be interesting, but there's a few little things we've got to be aware of here. Right? There's a few little things we've got to be aware of. Right? So what I want to show you right, is what I want to show you is these here, right? So these are the players. So Bo Adensall, he's going to go like probably around. So look, Zeke, he's probably going to go there, right? So there we are, right? And then let's get my board up. So Dylan's around the 7 mark. And then Bo, where have I got Bo? He's like late first. Let's put him there, right? So if you look here, right, at what points Gold Coast have, right? Gold Coast have 2,705 points. You can see Zeke Hewland kills them straight away, right? So you can see Zeke Hewland here, when that bid comes in for Zeke Hewland, right, they will get 500 points change, right, which will take them to, they'll get a change pick. Let's just say that, right? So they're 700 short, 1,300 short, right? And one of these, I guarantee, will be bid on before in around here. So let's just say, to be safe, Gold Coast need to have 1,700. Let's say 1,700. They need pick 4 worth somewhere else. So it's going to be really interesting. So that one that you did here, where are you, legend? So this one that you did here, right? Right? Let's just do that. Let's just show you how this would work for them, right? So they've got that pick, right? That's picks. So that would be pick 8, right? And then they trade Eagles 29. $22, and then you've got what? $33, $35. So from the Carlton deals. Fremantle and the Carlton one. So you can see here, right? Look, that gives them just a little bit less. But what that will allow them to do is not drop down back too much. So that could be a really interesting one that you brought up there, mate. That's a very good trade by you. They're definitely going to have to increase their value. They're definitely going to increase their value. Great question here. All right. Am I happy with the young talent? I don't mind what the Blues have got. My issue is I think they need 6 to 7 players to build the list up. So I always have this rule. You look at who's been delisted. Look at who you can bring in. But there's a couple of problems in the AFL draft. Mate, you're not even joking as well, bro. You're not even joking. Make sure you like the stream as well. It really does help the channel out finding the algorithm. Because this one's quite an educational one. After this, it'll be a little bit more fun. But yeah, so you've got that. There's a few more issues, though, in this draft that I want you to keep aware of. So Gold Coast, I think Gold Coast will look to trade back in the draft. So that could be interesting. I could see the Eagles having a punt. I could see North maybe having a punt as well. I think they'll want to trade back from here. Now, St. Kilda are a really intriguing one, right? So remember, you've got 2 years of firsts, right? So let's just use this as an example, right? They're going to have, right, 2026, 2027, right, to use. They're going to have a lot of future picks, right? So it's going to be very intriguing if you look at what they're going to do, because they have got 2 years extra. It's going to be really interesting. Yeah, spot on, Nicola. There'll be like a back-end deal if the Eagles did it. So It's going to be really interesting because you look at what we were talking about, what St Kilda have got to buy when you come here. Right? That's all taken care of. But St Kilda, that's got to be a good. That's not going to be cheap. People are downplaying Liam Ryan, but there's no way Eagles are going to give him for a third. Flanders, straight away, St Kilda will be asking for that. And Gold Coast have previous under the new establishment. They're going to ask for what you earn first. Lee Kalia, no way GWS do that on the cheap either. And Cam McKenzie is going to be a pick somewhere around here. So it's going to be fascinating because I don't think they keep 9. I don't think they keep 9, which will make it interesting. They'll try to, but I don't think St Kilda can keep 9. So it's going to be interesting. But I do feel like the Eagles are going to move up, Nicola. I feel like they're going to move up. I could see a deal where they give you that pick for them picks there, and you go up. So it's going to be interesting, but it's going to be fascinating what they do. Widescreen, that could be the most dodgiest thing we've ever seen. I don't think you ever see it in the AFL. So, Scott, good segue. Good segue. So, in that draft sheet, you'll see we've put every player in the AFL draft at the combines, right? So, about 90% of this mob get drafted, right? So, there's currently 64 players there. So, that's roughly 55 of them. That's roughly 60 of them are going to get picked. 58 are going to get picked. And just under half of this mob get picked up statistically in the AFL draft. So that's about another 20. So doing the maths there, that kind of checks out that there's going to be about 60 to 70 selections. But you'll see this. So to answer your question, Scott, these are my rankings. Everyone's is different. I think Felix is in here. I'm sure his are different to mine. These are all just how we see it. I do like this draft because we can tell if people are copying people because this is the most even draft I've seen for a while. I've still got Dyson Sharp at number 1. In a free draft, I would actually have Danny Annabelle and Zeke Hewland 1 and 2, just for caveat. But Will Dersmus there, Cooper Duff Tyler, Sam Cumming. You can see I'm a big fan of Dyson. Big fan of Dice. I'm still huge on Josh Lindsay. I can't believe people have fallen off him. Just watch any of the finals. Josh Lindsay wins your flags. Easy. Harry Dean's there. Xavier Taylor's going right up my rankings. Sullivan Roby has shot inside the top 30. He was 32 last month. Ollie Grebe still there. Sherbert. Mitchie Marsh slightly falling. His Sandful form. Jacob Farrow, Max King. Noah, Bo, you can see there. So 3 players in the top 20. You've got Essendon, Swede, Jevon, Archie Ludowick, great player. Rory Wright, I'm still a big fan. Harley Barker, Oscar Taylor, Louis Emmett. So we can see there as we go down to the top 50. That's what we got. I really like it. I really like this draft class. I think if you've got the pieces in the puzzle, you're in a real good position. You're in a real good position. Essendon get 8, future second, and a few. Scar, right. So are you saying St. Kilda? Who's buying starters, CJ, in that? That's my power rankings widescreen. Mock draft's totally different because everyone's got different wants, but that's how I've prioritized them in what I like. That's why I do the power rankings and the mocks. They're 2 different. So Essendon get 8. So are you saying with the matches pick 9. Let's go back to the one without it. It is indeed Rodriguez. Essendon get 8 future second. St Kilda get future first starters. Would St Kilda want starters? I think you might have overpaid for starters, but I didn't rate starters in his drafts, so that might be me. Felix might disagree with me. I've never been a fan of Elijah starters. I'm sure in reality, if you offered a second and a first for starters, they would probably do it. So what I think in this draft, I think outside of the top 5, if you were looking to boost your bottom line, you're winning. But Shaky, he's spot on. Like, you've got to overprice your players. But it's a real fascinating one. Because there is some real talent here. And there is some talent. There's some real talent here as you go down. Like Taj Murray, I think he could be anything. Some really good players in this national draft that really build you up. Because what I want you to think of is we'll use Essendon, right, as the example, right? This is what I want you to start thinking about for next week when we do this, because we'll be going in with the rumours. But if you look at what Essendon have got rid of, right? So they got rid of what? Owen Davey, Sam Draper, Todd Goldstein, Laverde, Menzies. Right? Right. So this is what I want you to think about, right? So you guys in chat. So what you want to do is, what Essendon have got to do is Essendon have got to improve them players, right? So let's use these picks. Right? So let's just think of it this way. We've got to improve these picks, right? So let's just do it based off ladder order. So this is very uneducated, but we're just going to do this based on 3 available players, right? So we'll get them. Right? Let's do that. And then who were Essendon linked to in the 3? There we are, right. So let's just say Essendon did that, right? Real basic level of thinking. Right? So we'll look at this. I would say, is that an improvement? In the short term, no. But when you look at Cooper Duff-Tytler's VFL form for Essendon, right? If we go to the end, right? So he played 1 game. He kicked 3 goals, right? He kicked 3 goals. Is that an improvement? It's not an improvement now, right? But yeah, you do get them for free, but that's why I've killed the last 2 picks. Them 2 picks will be eaten up, right? So let's just say, we'll say that that's slight improvement, right? We'll say that's a draw. Let's call that a draw, right? Sam Cumming is miles better than him. Josh Lindsay is way better than him, right? Adam Swede is another level to Jai Menzies, right? So let's just do this. I say if you're conservative, they lose 6 players, they win 4, draw 1, lose 1. That's how you get better. That's a good way to think of it. Players I'm leaving, the players I'm bringing in, are they better? Now, obviously, if you had Zach Merritt here, right, and let's just say the player they bring in is Cam Mackenzie, that's a loss structurally. It's a loss. But long term, dependent on, let's have a look at the pro comp. Hawthorn would give you pick 10 as well. Let's say that that's Xavier Taylor as well. That's pretty good. So that's like, look, that's not that's still 5 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss. So when you look at that, that's how you've got to look at it, because when you actually look at good teams, that's what they do. What they lose, they all round win. So I don't think Essendon are in a bad position. So, like, let's just say, based on the comp picks here, that could be Essendon's pick. That could be Essendon's pick. That's like that's a huge win. That's a huge win. Like, if you do it with Carlton, we'll do it with Carlton as well, because there's Carlton fans in chat. Right? Let's look at who Carlton have lost this year, right? So Carlton have lost what? Sincotta, TDK, Doherty, Fantasia, Lemmy Jesus in it. Right? So, JSOS, right? So this is how you've got to work it out. And let's just say Carlton have 11, 30, 39, 48, right? Right. And then let's say Carlton have done a dodgy. Where's Elijah? Right. Let's say Carlton have done a dodgy and they managed to get. Let's say Carlton have done that, right? Let's say Carlton have done that. And then let's say Carlton have brought all these guys in. Right? So let's just keep it easy at that base level. We've got to bring someone else in. So let's just do a likely one. Let's say that right. So here you are. This is where you've got to look at it. This is where you've got to look at it, right? So let's rearrange this. So Cincotta versus Campbell, right? Probably a win. Probably a win. Because there's no doubt Campbell, when he's playing, is a better footballer than Cincotta, right? That's a loss, right? That's a loss. That's a loss. That's a loss. Elijah, the most likeliest replacement out of them, that's probably a loss, right? Huge win. Huge win. As a forward, based on fitness, that's a win. Fantasia versus Gresham is a draw. And then let's just say CJ Lemmy versus that. So that would be a win. So you would say they're Carlton have broke even there, but they've added depth. So where Essendon have definitely won, we'll go loss, win, win, loss, win. So that lot. So that's pretty evens. You'd say a marginal win. If Kerno goes, that could get better. But that's how you've got to do it. That's how you've got to do it. So that's what you want to have a look at. But there's the rough draft rankings. They'll be all up there, right? And then what I wanted to show you before we finish is, can I show you that? Let's see if I can do this. So there we are. So on the way to centre bounce, our wonderful Big J, he won the Creators Supercoach Challenge, right? I've got an email from Dispatch that we've got the shirts coming in. So I've got Sean's sizes. Shane, I need yours. He was a winner. Double Dummy, when you watch this, I need your shirt size. Jamie B, I need your shirt size, so contact me somewhere. Who else won prizes? Shane did, Sean, Jamie B, Double Dummy. Juddy, you won a prize as well. Make sure you contact me so we can get these Supercoach shirts out to you. And before we look at it, we have got only one more round of the tipping to go, right? You can buy one, Scotty. Oh, Matt as well, Langy, I need your shirt size. So I think the only person I'm not in contact with is Double Dummy. The rest of you have emailed me, right? So if you look on here, can I make that bigger? So, oh, Tatum, you're another winner. You're another winner. Reply to my email. Reply to my email because you won an award. But PRJM, Rocco Morrow, and Peter Haywood, and Tiger Time and MRL. Remember, we've got $300 for number one, $200 for second, $100 for third, right? Free money. Remember to tip for the grand final, but you are so close. All right. So that is fantastic. So chat, thank you very much. Make sure you like the stream on your way out. Next week, we're going to do a big fan cam, right? Fan cam session. So what we're going to do moving forward, structured, is we'll have structured conversation of all the trade rat, everything that's going on. And then I'm going to put the link in the description next week. You can come on, ask questions. We'll do some fun exercises. Keep asking your questions. Thank you very much, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow, you have got part 4 of the draft, the last 3 people, right? The last 3 people in the draft combine. You've got, who else have you got? You've got, and this week, you've got a load of draft content to get through. You've got the list management strategies of Richmond, North Melbourne, and Essendon. So I really enjoyed that. I hope you got something out of it. If there is anything you were confused about or want more, we can go in a bit more detail. I'll give you a cheat. Next week, we've got a few pick matching and draft point exercises that we'll do together. That's always one that you ask. But just think, DM me, comment on this. Thank you very much, chat. Have a great weekend. Love you all. Pom out.